Hello and welcome back. My name is Sharon Perry and I am the treasurer of Tiffin City Schools. I'm a lifelong resident of Seneca County and a former Miracle Blue Jacket and Tiffin University Dragon. I am married to a Tiffin Calvert Seneca and we have 4 children, all of whom I am very proud to say were Tiffin Columbian tornadoes. I've been the treasurer of Tiffin City Schools for almost 10 years now. Before this, I was the treasurer at Old Fort Local Schools for over 12 years. My office is located on the 2nd floor of the administration building in room 208. My experienced staff includes 4 accounting clerks and 1 EMIS director. Carol Vaughn is our accounts payable clerk. Eileen Galleto is responsible for accounts receivable and student activities. Danielle Robinal is responsible for payroll. Angie Klaus is responsible for employment contracts and benefits, and Tammy Hare is our Director of Data and Reporting. She handles all things EMIS, which is the state's Education Management Information System. Before they explain more about their own positions, I would like to emphasize a few golden rules for everyone to remember when it comes to spending the district's money. First, the Board of Education is the only party that can enter into a contractual agreement and legally bind the school district to any obligation. No employee or position, including mine, has the authority to do that on their own. Second, the Board of Education is the legal owner of all money and property given to the school district, regardless of where it came from, whether it's from taxes, donations, grants, or any type of district fundraiser. Any check written by the district or any payment made by the district must always begin with a formal request or a requisition for an approved purchase order. No district money can ever be spent without that purchase order, and no financial obligation can ever be made without it, whether that's to order classroom supplies, be reimbursed for travel expenses, or to start a fundraiser, whether it will be paid with a district check or paid with a district credit card. And please remember, an approved requisition is not an approved purchase order. It is only a request for a purchase order. An approved requisition does not allow you to spend the district's money. You can only spend or obligate the district's money with an approved purchase order. Also, remember that all expenditures of the district must be a proper public purpose, meaning for the public welfare of the school district and the benefit of its general student body, not for personal welfare nor any private or individual purpose. All money collected for the school district by any employee for any reason must be deposited with the school district within 24 hours, meaning by the end of the next regular business day. It should be turned into your building office on a daily basis. It should never be held until the end of an ongoing fundraiser. Also, whether it's for a principal's fund, a student organization, athletics, or any type of extracurricular activity, all fundraisers and events that involve the collection or expenditure of district funds must be pre-approved by the building and district administrators before any activity begins. Since all fundraisers are subject to review by the state auditors, all of these procedures will help to protect you as an individual. Thank you so much for listening, and please do not hesitate to contact me with any questions you might have about any of our fiscal procedures. Many of the answers can be found in our board policies, the building offices, your collective bargaining agreements, or on the district's website. But you are always welcome to call me in the administration building at 419-447-2515, extension 1306, or email me at sharon_perry@tiffincityschools.org. Again, thank you for your time and best wishes to all of you this year.
Hi, I'm Danielle Robinal, and I'm the payroll clerk for Tiffin City Schools. I'm responsible for entering and processing payroll, updating tax deductions, and direct deposit information. Here's a couple things I'd like you to remember. If you are updating your direct deposit accounts, please do not stop your current account until you notify me. Also, please be advised that if you email me a request to change your bank account information, I will call you to verify. This is because of fraud. We have in the past had someone send an email pretending to be someone else. Also, please make sure to send me a voided check or something from your bank showing your name, bank name, and account numbers so I can verify them when I'm entering them into the system. Time cards. Any employee turning in a time card, for example, home instruction, please complete and sign the time card, turn it into your supervisor for approval. If you could also please turn the timesheets in a timely manner that coincides with our pay periods. For example, the upcoming September 4th pay has a payroll period of August 9th through August 22nd. So I can only input dates from August 9th through August 22nd for the September 4th pay. If you need a copy of that payroll period / payroll date paper, please let me know. If at any other time you have any other questions, you can reach me by email, phone, or stop up at the administration building. My phone number is 419-447-2515, extension 1313, and my email is Danielle_Robinault@tiffincityschools.org. Thank you and have a great year.
Hi, my name is Eileen Galleto, and I'm one of the several account clerks who work in the administration building on the second floor. I work mainly with accounts receivable. My duties include posting of all receipts and e-fund payments from all 6 buildings on a daily basis. I am also responsible for all student activity funds and fundraisers. Including in the handling of the student activities is the overseeing of the annual Statement of Purpose Budget Report. This report is required to be completed at the beginning of each fiscal year by the advisor or coach for each fund. The purpose of this report is for the advisor or coach to list all estimated receipts or revenue for the year. For example, you would list each of your fundraising projects for the year or donations that you may receive. In addition, you would also list all expenditures on the budget report as well. An example of this would be the vendor that you may have purchased t-shirts from for a clothing sale. Please remember to sign and date the form before you give it to your building principal for approval. Or for athletic funds, please submit your reports to the athletic director. And finally, the superintendent will approve it, and then the budget report will be placed on the next board agenda for approval by the Board of Education. The original copy will be kept on file in my office. A copy will be sent back to the advisor after all signatures have been received. The other form that will need to be completed for student activities is the sales project potential form. This form should be filled out and submitted for each proposed sales project that your club or group is planning on doing. These individual projects should all be listed on your Statement of Purpose budget reports as well. Please give a good description of each project on the form, along with the dates that the project begins and ends. You will then sign, date, and submit the form to your building principal or athletic director for approval. Once the superintendent approves the project, a copy will be returned to you for your records. As you collect money for the fundraisers, please turn that money into your building cashier promptly. Do not hold on to any of the money. Please make sure that your cash receipts give a clear description of the money that is to be deposited. Be specific. For example, do not say fundraiser money, Instead, give the project name listed on your sales project potential form, such as volleyball clothing sales or National Honor Society student dues and fees. When your project's finished, you must complete the bottom of the sales project form in a timely manner. Remember to sign and date it and submit it for final approval. Please don't hesitate to contact me by email or call me with any questions regarding any receipts or student activities. Thank you and have a great year.
Hi, my name's Carol Vaughn, and I do the accounts payable for the district. I pay all the bills, and I also process all the purchase orders. So you complete your requisitions and have them signed, and then you send them to your building secretary, and she will enter them after they're approved by your supervisor. Always make sure that you've got up-to-date prices on your requisitions, and also if there's shipping charges, I need that information on there also, so that the amount of the purchase order is at least the amount of the invoice. Also, always let your building secretary or supervisor know when you've received your order, so that she can send the information to me, so that I can know that the invoice is okay to pay. If you're dealing with somebody that is a new vendor to the district, if you would ask them to have send you a W-9, and then that can be forwarded to me so that I can set them up as a new vendor, I would appreciate that. Also, you might want to indicate on your requisition how the order is to be placed, whether you're going to place the order, or if the secretary needs to place the order. That's information that we need to know. And also, we need a requisition for any type of a purchase, whether it's a purchase order or if it's something that needs to be purchased online. It also has to have a requisition. So I get the requisitions from the secretaries, I convert them to purchase orders, I get them signed over here, then you get a copy back so that you know that it has been approved and that you can do your purchase. I think that's about it. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Tammy Hare. I am the Director of Data and Reporting for Tiffin City Schools. And just like many others, I too wear many hats. My main responsibility is for the Education Management Information System, otherwise known as EMIS. EMIS is a statewide data collection system for Ohio's primary and secondary schools. All staff, student, district, and building information, along with financial data, are collected through this system. Staff and student data collected includes teacher and student demographics, attendance for both parties, and course information, along with programs and test data, which is submitted to ODE through the staff and student data collection portal. General school district and building data, including financial data, is also reported through EMIS. There are 4 major functions of EMIS. There are state and federal reporting. School districts must streamline state and federal reporting requirements by collecting and maintaining student, staff, and financial data elements that are submitted to ODE. Funding and distribution of payments. EMIS provides information in order for districts to receive state funding and determine eligibility for federal funding. We are required to report specific information on each student, such as various student demographic data, percent of time the student is being educated in our buildings, attendance, absent days, disability conditions, and many more. EMIS aggregates
and compiles the data to determine funding for us. Academic accountability. EMIS is the heart of Ohio's academic accountability system for students, schools, and districts in order to gauge the performance of students. EMIS serves as the mechanism for school districts to report test results. Our academic assessments are the basis of our local report card. EMIS allows both ODE and school districts to comply with state law and federal No Child Left Behind requirements. Lastly, EMIS generates statewide and district reports. Through EMIS, ODE collects, analyzes, and reports data to a variety of audiences and provides data for the generation of state reports, such as our local report card. Other statewide reports are produced from EMIS data for legislatures, education organizations, and for policy and research needs. In order for EMIS to function properly, teachers, secretaries, principals, technology and support staff, administration, and third-party student software vendors all must work together to make sure the data collected and submitted is complete and accurate. Our state funding depends on it. Thank you.
Hi, and welcome to the administration building. The first thing I want you to realize is that we are here to help you. We're only a phone call away, or come to our door. And then today, I really want to help you with several of the forms just to make life easier for you and for us. The first form that I want to do is the tuition reimbursement form. The form looks like this. Many of you have seen it. You filled it out, but I just want to do a couple reminders. First off, it's supposed to be done before you take the class. And that's one of the first things that needs to be pre-approved by the assistant superintendent prior to your official enrollment. Now, I know that's hard because sometimes you look at the enrollment and say, I think I want to take this class, or I may not get this class. May I make a suggestion that if you really feel you're probably going to take the class, go ahead, fill out the form. If for some reason you do not take the class, just tell us and we'll remove it from the list. It's that simple. Once the form is in and Mr. Bose approves it, I scan it back to you. And then after the class or sometime during the class, we need 3 forms from you. One of them is something that shows you are registered, a fee that you've paid for it, evidence you successfully completed the course, and then a 1-page summary that explains how this course will impact your teaching. All of these are put together, and then after September 15th of the next year, so we're looking at now at September 15th of 2021, then you may get some reimbursement. So it's a long-term thing, so you've got all year to get them in. So just think about it, but be ahead of time. Think about getting it in because it makes things much easier. The next form that I would like to do with you is your professional conference form. And that one looks like this on the front, but I'm going to hit several things with that. If you're going to a meeting within the district or there's no money involved with it, you do not have to do the form, but you do have to go into Frontline, what we're used to calling ASOP, and put your name in. Word of warning, there's not a lot of substitutes. So if you want somebody in your classroom, I would strongly urge you to do it as soon as you've been approved by your principal to go to that meeting. Second off, if it is a meeting that you want to get reimbursed for, whether it be mileage or meals, or you want registration paid for, then this is the form you need to do. 2 weeks at least ahead of time. Now that sounds like a long time, but number one, once you get the front filled out, and we'll go back and look at that in a minute, you have to get the principal's signature. Once they sign it, then it's got to come over here and we have to get Mr. Bose's signature, or it may be Merrill Hill's signature or Michelle Tuitt's signature, but we have to get other signatures on it. And then we have to do a purchase rec for the items. If it's a vendor that's not in the system, the vendor has to be put in. That can easily take a 2-week period, and then we're down to where you're going, and sometimes you need to check when you go. So that 2 weeks isn't because we're just being picky. It's because we need that time to help you get prepared to go to your meeting. Once you have the front of the form filled out, be sure to have signatures on it, both your signature and your principal's or supervisor's signature. That's kind of important. Sometimes I've had to send forms back because there wasn't any information on it. Be as informational as you can. Just saying you're going to stay at a hotel doesn't help. We need to know what. Be as informational as you can. Just saying you're going to stay at a hotel doesn't help. We need to know what hotel. You need to make the reservations. We need to know where to send registration if you're being registered. And then once you get back, you get all this filled out and it's all approved. There again, this form will be scanned back to you, just like the tuition reimbursement form will be scanned back to you to know it's all approved. You got all the signature, it's been approved. And then you also will get a copy of the back. The back is what's really important because that's where you're really going to get your money back or show that you went to the meeting. So this should be done within about 2 or 3 weeks after you get back because it's very easy to lose receipts or kind of forget about it after you come back and get in the turmoil of teaching and everything else that's going on. And there again, there's a place for you to put the information in. They need the original receipts showing what was purchased and where it was purchased at, not just a copy of your credit card form that doesn't show anything. They need the actual receipt. And then also you need to sign it and your principal needs to sign it. So there again, we need 2 signatures on it. And then it can come back to us. And once I get it, if everything's done completely, I put it with the purchase order and you're paid. So if you want the money, it's kind of important for you to get it back at that point. Licensure, and I'm just going to kind of hit that in a general way. Of course, you go through ODE. I will tell you they're changing the system a little bit again this year, and it may or may not be a little bit harder. I've seen bits and pieces of it, and so be prepared to get it done. Teachers, you need to work through your LPDC, and the information will be on in the website. And this is what the front of it will look like. It will list when the meetings are, and I usually put out a reminder of the meetings beforehand, and then you can decide if you need to go. But you need to get your IPPDs in ahead of time, and then you need to do your Form C afterwards with all of your information. We do not keep all of your information here for all the meetings you go to. That is something that you as a teacher need to do. Educational aids, this is the same place that you go to do your information to get done. I try to send notifications out to you in January, late December, January, if you're going to need to renew licenses, if you're going to need to get an FBI. And yes, if you're working for Tiffin City Schools, unless things change, you will only need an FBI. You do not need to get both of them. That'll save you some money along that line. I want to hit on the coaches too, because, sometimes we forget about them, but I keep track of them too. And they all need all of this to be able to coach. A pupil activity permit, and that can be a 3 or a 4 or 5-year-old, depending on your item. They need a first aid certificate that they have to get every 2 years, a concussion certificate that they have to get every 3 years, a CPR certificate that they have to get every 2 years, and fundamentals of coaching, that's a lifetime, and sudden cardiac arrest is every year, and then the FBI and BCI is every 5 years. If you want places to go to look for these, I do have a sheet that lays out where they can all be done online and help you get your paperwork done ahead of time. Again, I want to say we're here to help you. And if you have questions, please feel free to call us. Thank you.
Hi. It's kind of quiet right now, but usually our phones are ringing. People are at our doors, and usually our office is pretty full. So this is a good time to record this. I just wanted to give you a little background on what we do here in our department. There are 4 of us all together. Myself, who I usually stand right here at my desk, and I take care of anything that comes across my desk, whether it's something that I've had scheduled or something that just happens to come up. It could be a meeting, or it could be an emergency, something with a network, or something that needs to be checked out, whether or not we want to purchase it. Decisions that need to be made, purchasing more Chromebooks. We're always looking for more Chromebooks. Talking about Chromebooks, we implemented 1,833 new Chromebooks this summer that we put out to replace a lot of the older ones that we took out of the district. It was time for that to happen. We were really happy to get those out of the district. Fortunately, I was able to order those with the very giving hands of some donors, and it was really appreciated. We got those ordered back in April and May, and there are a lot of schools yet that are waiting for their Chromebooks to come in. Besides the Chromebooks, we also take care of the buildings here in our school district. We have 2 technicians, Nick Delacerda and Ben Cam. You've probably come in contact with both of those gentlemen. They take care of the Lincoln Preschool building, the Washington building. They also take care of the Kraut and the Noble Elementary, the middle school building, both floors, and also the high school. And when they're not taking care of the school buildings, they're also working in the administration building and the transportation building, and also in the maintenance building. So those 2 gentlemen are really busy. So when they're in the hallway, if they don't say hello, or if they're really busy and they can't answer a question for you, it's because they have limited time. A lot of people don't realize it, how much ground they cover in one day. We also service in-house all of our computers. We repair as many as we can on our own. We're Apple certified. Lately, we've been doing all of our own Chromebook repair work. And besides that, we work on any technology that is plugged into the wall. It could be dealing with anything in the food kitchen or in the cafeteria, anything in the offices, we take care of. I also have a coworker. She sits right over there by the flag, and that's Mrs. Distel. She's our office manager. She handles everything that comes across the phone. She takes care of our password resets for every application out there. She also handles whoever comes through that door for us. And she is a big part of this department, and we are really grateful for her. Besides what you see right before you, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes as well. A couple of years back, we were anticipating going 1-to-1, and so we decided to upgrade our wireless in the district. So we put in new access points or antennas. So if you're in your classroom right now watching this, you'll probably see a access or antenna on your ceiling or on your wall, and there'll be a little blinking lights. Those are the access or wireless access points that provide you the internet so that you can have the laptops or the wireless devices to be used in your classrooms. We made sure that every single building has the adequate coverage so that they can be able to take tests and also be able to participate in the classrooms. We also took on quite a big project of rewiring the entire Columbian High School. At the same time, we stripped all the wiring out and put new wiring in, as well as upgraded the wireless and the switches. We are now capable of upgrading the wire end of it and putting in a 10 gig backbone. So what that means is we can add on to the wired and for the next 10 years easily without having to change out a lot of equipment. Besides that, we've just upgraded the copiers in our district. We've gone to Xerox, and I think we've got all the bugs worked out on that. We're using a new product called Paper Cut, which is going to help not only the environment cut back on the waste of paper, but it's also going to help the staff in being able to get to their paper printed out copies a lot more quickly and more efficiently, and not have to worry about losing their copies to someone else. Besides that, we've also integrated some new technology in some of the other buildings with displays, interactive screens. They're more of a television type screen. We've seen that those have been a big success. We would like to one day return to putting those in other buildings as well. So this is pretty much giving you an idea of what we do here in our department. And when we're not busy, please stop in and say hello. And we hope that everyone has a successful year and everyone stays healthy, and take care.
Greetings, Tiffin City Schools. I'm Amy Wood, Director of Academic Affairs, and today I'll be talking with you about the BRAG program. But before we begin, I have a question for you. What was your first job? And I don't just mean your career job. I mean, think back. What was the first job you ever had? Did you have a job in fast food or bagging goods at a local grocery store? Did you lifeguard at the pool in the summer? How old were you? And then think for a moment again. Recalling that experience, what did you learn from it? And what did you learn that still impacts you today? In my own example, my first job was delivering newspapers. In addition to learning the hard skills of wrapping and delivering individual papers, collecting and tracking the monthly fees due to the newspaper from each customer, I also learned soft skills like time management, work ethic, reliability, and a little critical thinking, like how to get away from a few of these. We can probably all agree that our first job gave us the hard and soft skills that were transferable into future life experiences. And yet, as I listened to stakeholders in the community, I heard a common thread, namely that students graduated and entered college or a career without the skills needed to succeed. Given that a first job is a mighty teacher for both hard and soft skills, and that stakeholders were saying that on the whole, graduates did not have these skills, and the professional literature says that work-based learning is the answer, this is where BRAG was born. BRAG, short for Bridging Readiness After Graduation, is a work-based learning program that provides placements for seniors in work sites during the school day for the second semester. Using career assessments that demonstrate for us students' strengths and interests, we partner with Sentinel Career Center to leverage their worksite relationships and use their placement documentation and processes to put our students into the world of work. Richland New Hope Industries supports our students with special needs through job coaching and transportation. Some of our clusters and partner worksites have included in Government and Public Administration, the City of Tiffin, in Manufacturing, American Fine Center, Health Science and Hospitality, Mercy Hospital in St. Francis, Agriculture and Environmental Systems, the Animal Hospital of Tiffin, and Arts and Communication, Tiffin University. In addition to the work site experiences, our students complete a Terra State course aligned to the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal. This reinforces their professional or soft skills that they're learning in the work sites. The Work-Based Learning program at Tiffin City Schools gives students the opportunity to develop core technical and employability competencies, to explore new career and education options, and build relationships between industry and future workforce. In short, it gives them something to brag about.
Hi, I'm Jill Miller. I'm one of the district social workers here at Tiffin City Schools, and this is Ace of Hearts, our therapy dog, one of our therapy dogs. We just call him Ace for short. My contact information is Jill_Miller at tiffincityschools.org, and my phone number is 419-618-4460. My main office is located at the Lincoln Pre-K building, but I'm all over the district and a lot of times all over the community. So if you need to get a hold of me immediately, the best bet is to either call or text my cell phone number. So what is the role of social workers in schools? We serve as a link between the home, the school, and the community. We address and reduce the barriers interfering with a student's learning. We help students and families access needed supports and resources. So a lot of times we will attend community meetings or sit on different committees in the community. This helps us to understand who the players are, what resources are out there, and that way we can link students and families with the best supports and resources for their needs. We provide professional development and support for staff in the areas of trauma-informed care, social-emotional learning, and mental health. And we help districts implement initiatives such as PBIS, which is Positive Behavioral Supports and Interventions, and other prevention programs to enhance the school climate and culture. We do have another social worker here in the district. Her name is Erin Smith, and her primary job is working with our students that have truancy or attendance barriers, but that's not her sole purpose. She also helps with a lot of these things as well and provides a lot of support for our staff and students. So what are school therapy dogs? School therapy dogs have been trained, evaluated, and registered by a certified therapy dog organization. So we have 3 dogs in the district. Ace is with me, and we are in every building. Kennedy is now with Trisha Eit, who is the counselor, one of the counselors at Kraut and the school counselor at Noble. And Cooper just passed all of his testing and evaluations, so he is now an official part of Tiffin Middle School with Melissa Malat, who is one of the counselors there. So all 3 of these dogs have been trained and evaluated and registered, as well as us as their handlers. And what we do is we provide animal-assisted activities, animal-assisted therapy, and animal-assisted interactions within a school. Therapy dogs are not the same as emotional support animals or service animals. A lot of people, call them one of these 2 different things, but they each have their own specialties and certifications, and so they are different than emotional support animals or service animals. School therapy dogs offer comfort to students and staff. They help improve student motivation and social skills, and they are a goal-driven intervention, which is meant to improve physical, social, emotional, and or cognitive function of an individual. So although, some people think that they're here just to have fun and love on and cuddle with, although that's very nice, and that, we do like to do that as well, they are here for a specific goal-driven intervention. So for example, if there is a student that is melting down or having some kind of emotional outburst, or maybe it's not an outburst at all, maybe they are closing in and not talking at all, we will come in with the dogs and provide that intervention. So the dogs are not, in that situation, looked at as a reward for students. A lot of people think, oh, here comes the dog, and this is just a reward for a student. No, it's a goal-driven intervention. There is research, and a lot of it out there, about therapy dogs, that they help reduce stress and improve physical and emotional well-being. They help lower blood pressure, they help decrease anxiety, improve self-esteem and normalization of the environment, and increase the likelihood of successful academic achievement by the student. So yes, we like them here, but they're also here for those specific reasons, because it is research-based that they are able to do all of those wonderful things. We also need to talk about guidelines for reporting suspected abuse and neglect. And for some of you, this is a review, and for others, this might be new information, but we need to make sure that you understand all of this. So you need to make sure that you report in the county that the child resides in, not the county of the school district. So for a lot of our students here at Tiffin City Schools, probably the majority, they live in Seneca County, and right here is the phone number for Seneca County. This is more of a state number that you can call, and then it directs you into Seneca County. But your best bet is to call this number right here. If the child does not live in Seneca County, then you must call the agency for the county that the child does reside in. You, as a school employee, are a mandated reporter. That means that you are required by law to report if you suspect or know that child abuse or neglect is occurring. So if you have a suspicion, it doesn't mean that you have to investigate it and have, all this information on it. If you suspect it or you know that it's going on, you are required by law to report. If you talk with a counselor or a social worker or maybe even another colleague about a suspicion, you must still make the report. If that person talks with the student, they can also report, or you can report together, but it does not eliminate you from having to make the call. You are the person that has the first-hand information. You are the person that has to make the call. And then you cannot keep secret things that students report to you, even if you feel like you're breaking their confidence and trust. I know this one is really hard, especially as school staff. We feel like, students came to us with this because they do trust us, and they want us to keep it a secret, but we cannot. This includes self-harm and suicidal ideations. You can lose your license or your job if you do not report. And a lot of times the best thing to do is just be upfront and honest with the student and say, I am required by law to report. My main job is to make sure that you are safe and healthy and taken care of. And a lot of times, the kids do understand that and they are seeking help. But we need to make sure that our students are safe. So here are the procedures here at Tiffin City Schools for reporting. So you must fill out the Google form and you must call to make the report. You cannot do one or the other. You need to do both. It is suggested that you print out the Google form before you submit it so that you have that for your records. There are times when the Children's Services investigator will call back and ask for information that you had put on that report or ask for clarification. Or in the rare instance that you do get called into court, you will have that for your records. It's just a nice reference to have, and so I would suggest that you print it out before you submit it. These forms can be found on our Tiffin City Schools webpage. So here's the address, tiffincityschools.org. This is what it looks like at the top. So you'll come to the top, you'll click on For Staff, and then this drop-down box comes up and you will click on Forms. For Staff and then Forms. From there, it will take you to a whole page of different forms. And about halfway down, there are miscellaneous staff forms. So you will go to the miscellaneous staff forms, and then that's where you will find the child abuse and neglect form, and you will click on there. Once you click on there, it takes you right into the Google sheet, and that's where you start your report. You just hit the next button and you go until you have made the full report. Something else for you to keep in mind is that your report is confidential. Under Ohio law, the report of abuse or neglect is confidential. So when you call in, an investigator cannot call up a family and say, oh, Mrs. Miller from Tiffin City Schools called and said that you are doing so-and-so. They are not allowed to do that. Under Ohio law, they could lose their job for that. However, we do have parents that call in on occasion and they will say, well, they told me that you called in, or I know that it was you that called in. They did not tell. A lot of times it's just the information that we are giving. They kind of eliminate their choices and kind of sometimes may figure out themselves. And my response to that is always, I am a mandated reporter, and my job is to make sure that I keep your child safe, and so that's my job. You do not have to say that, though. You do not have to admit that you even called, because it is confidential. So when you make that report, if you print out that form, do not put it in the child's file. It is not public record. It is not education record. Please keep that in a confidential file that you keep yourself. The next thing I'd like to talk with you about is Pay It Forward. And this is our logo here that was created by one of our advanced art students last year at Columbian High School. So Pay It Forward is located behind the administration building at 244 South Monroe Street. It does have the logo right out front, so it's very easy to find. This project is committed to ensuring that all students have their basic needs and necessities met. We don't want to have any barriers in the way of education and our students' learning. School staff and community members can donate new or gently used clothing, shoes, and hygiene items. Those are the three things that we accept: clothing, shoes, and hygiene items. Unfortunately, we're not currently accepting donations until we're able to move more items out of the store and into the hands of our students and families. 2 years ago, when this idea came about, we had an outpouring of donations from a lot of you, our school staff. And if you recall, those of you that were here, it started in a classroom at the Lincoln Building and just kind of grew from there. So we still have a lot of items, which is great. But I know that a lot of you probably did some cleaning during COVID and want to get rid of your stuff. Please hang on to that. If you can, we will at some point hopefully be accepting donations, but we just really need to be open on a more regular basis now. Families are able to shop during designated days and times, and we provide free and essential items that they need. So shop is in quotations because they do come and they shop for things, but we are not asking them to pay anything. This is a free service to them. When they come in, they check in at the front door, and there's a sheet of just their identifying information, and then they can fill out if they need other resources such as housing or food or mental health help. And then we are able to help them with referrals right there. We have a whole wall of resources that we're able to provide. The donation and the store schedules will be shared on a monthly basis. You can follow Tiffin City Schools on Facebook. It is posted there. Or you can follow me on Twitter at TCS Social Worker. We do post open days and times there for both donations and shopping times. Pay It Forward also provides Columbian students with career experience, job skills, and social skills needed to work in public entities. So Stacy Basinger is our transitions coordinator, and so she has a class of students that are learning these skills. They're learning the social skills to be able to work in the community, and they're also learning job skills. So when a donation comes in, her students will go through them, and they will look for stains or holes or a lot of wear and tear. For those items, there is a recycle bin behind our Pay It Forward store. It's in the parking lot that faces I believe it's Charlotte Street. It's right by the funeral home. But there's a recycle bin there that they can put those items in. Or if you're going through things at home and you have some tennis shoes that are really worn or have holes in them, maybe some shirts with stains. They even recycle things such as old purses and old ties and wallets and belts, anything that's textile. So you are able to put them in there for recycling. For the items that are unstained and are maybe just gently used, our students then take them over to the Columbian building where they have a washer and dryer, and they learn to launder the clothes. After the clothes are laundered, then they begin sorting them, and they will put them together by size, by gender, and then they take them over to the store and get them ready for shopping. Once the store is open for open shopping, they are in there working. So they are greeting the customers, they're helping them with questions, and they check them out at the end. For more information on this, you can either email me or you can email Stacy_Basinger at tiffincityschools.org. I hope I helped you with some of the things that you needed to know. I hope this provided some good information for you. I am always here if you need anything, so please don't hesitate to reach out, and I hope that you have a really successful school year.
There we go. Hi, my name is Michelle Tewitt, and I am the Director of Educational Programming. If you take just a minute and grab a pencil and something to write on, please take down my cell phone number, 419-350-5439. You can use that to get a hold of me, or you can use my email, which is Michelle with 2 L's _ Tewitt, Tuite, at tiffincityschools.org. Amongst the many things that I have the responsibility for, a few of them may affect you and the students that you serve in your classroom. One of the things I do want to talk about is if you have a child in your classroom and Through your interactions with home, you see that the parents have a younger sibling that is possibly 3 to 5 years old, but not in school, and may be experiencing some sort of delays or difficulties in being successful academically or physically or emotionally. Please reach out to me so that I can do a home visit and be able to possibly offer them some resources for the little one. I also am the Title IX coordinator, which deals with sexual discrimination. And so I would urge you and encourage you to pay attention to the Title IX programming and training that is in our public school works. And if you have any questions at all, I would encourage you to err on the side of safety and forward any and all of those complaints to my email currently, which again is Michelle_Tuite, Tuite, at tiffincityschools.org. I will be working with the team to work through those processes and those complaints and working on investigation and report writing and then decision making. I also deal with our homeless and foster population. So if you have any students in your classroom that you believe are suffering from homelessness, according to McKinney-Vento, which is how we base our decisions on which students qualify for homeless resources, if a student is doubled up, if they're living in the car, if they're living in a tent, if they're living anywhere than a permanent structure, that could even be a trailer, camper, to please contact me directly so that I can offer resources to those families. At the moment, we believe there's only one family that is currently living in a hotel situation, and we're hoping to change that. I work with lots of agencies and lots of networks to be able to provide our families with assistance for groceries, utilities, rent, and possibly help them save them from eviction. I do work with a lot of homeless programming, and I'm currently in the process of securing funds to set up another shelter in Tiffin City. For all of our children who are foster placed or maybe placed with kinship, I also assist those families. So if you have any, Jill Miller will talk to you a little bit more if you have any suspicion of abuse or neglect, how to report that and where to submit that information. And if it is substantiated, I would be a person who could possibly call you and ask if you would be willing to have a child placed in your home based on kinship. Kinship is based on a previous relationship. So if you had that child in your class, or possibly they were during any of your duties and you had a relationship with that child and felt comfortable taking them in your home, that is a possibility rather than placing them in a foster home and placing them with people that they may not know. So if you do hear of something like that and you are interested, please reach out. Again, my cell phone number is 419-350-5439. Occasionally, I will be taking donations for clothing or other items and resources when a child is placed quickly, so that that foster family, kinship family does not have to be inconvenienced with additional people moving into their home. I also work with our adjudicated youth. So anytime that our children are charged with various items through the police department and are placed out at JDC, Jill Miller and I are typically the ones who respond to those. And I make sure that I try to attend every single court hearing, whether it's in front of Magistrate Bennett or Judge Meyer. I like for Tiffin City to be involved in that process so that we can help the student with a smooth transition back into school, and we can also set them up for success for anything that they might need inside the juvenile detention center or at home, if they need any additional counseling or any other programming. And then we like to relay that back to the staff at TC, or in Tiffin City Schools, so that you know what to expect and how to work with those families. If there's anything else that you need help with, if you need hygiene items for students in your class, if you need additional support items for students in your class, I also work with the Title I budget. And this year it's very, very low because we are putting a large majority of it towards technology, Chromebooks, and other devices that our students can access in and out of school. But if there's anything that you think I can help you with, I would just put out there that many of you do know how to get a hold of me. I would suggest that you email or call or text. Please let me know who you are, because if I don't recognize the number, I will not pick it up. But I will definitely get back to you. And finally, I would just like to say, welcome back to one of the most crazy beginnings that we've ever had. And I am confident that this will be a year to remember. And I personally am encouraging you to take on the same attitude as me. This will be the best year ever. Together, we can do anything. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. I pray that you have an excellent school year. And as always, we'll be here if you need any additional support. Thank you.